In the summer of 1914, the world stood on the edge of an unseen disaster. Europe was a land of power, pride, and political tension, a ticking time bomb. And then, one bullet changed everything. The assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria-Hungary in Sarajevo became the spark that ignited the fire. Within weeks, alliances were activated, borders closed, and armies marched. What began as a local conflict quickly became a global catastrophe. The war was supposed to end quickly, but months turned into years, and soldiers found themselves trapped in hell, the trenches. From the muddy fields of France to the frozen lands of Eastern Europe, men lived and died in ditches carved into the earth. They faced constant hunger, fear, disease, and the endless echo of artillery fire. In those narrow trenches, they were not heroes or enemies, just human beings trying to survive another sunrise. It wasn't just Europe's war. It became the world's war. Nations from Asia, Africa, and the Middle East joined the conflict. Empires called upon their colonies to fight battles far from home. The seas thundered with naval warfare. The skies roared with the birth of aerial combat. And for the first time, machines, poison gas, and tanks changed the face of battle forever. The entire planet was bleeding. No land untouched, no soul left unchanged. By 1918, the world had grown weary. Empires that had ruled for centuries were collapsing under their own weight. The German Empire, the Austro-Hungarian Empire, the Ottoman Empire, and the Russian Empire all fell into ashes. The world map was redrawn, and from the ruins, new nations were born. The price of power was finally revealed, and it was paid in blood. When the guns finally fell silent on November 11, 1918, the silence was deafening. The war that was meant to end all wars had taken over 20 million lives. The Treaty of Versailles was signed in 1919, promising peace, but instead, it planted the seeds of another war yet to come. A generation was lost, cities destroyed, hearts shattered. The war ended, but its echoes never did. They wrote letters home, dreaming of peace, of sunlight, of love. But most never returned. Those who did came back changed, haunted by what they'd seen, unable to speak of it. Their words, found in journals and poems, became the voice of a generation silenced by trauma. Their voices still echo through the silence of the trenches. While men fought on the front lines, women fought in their own way. They worked in factories, built weapons, healed the wounded, and held families together. They carried the weight of nations, in silence, in strength, in sacrifice. The world often forgets them, but without their courage, survival would have been impossible. While men fought the war, women carried the world. The war gave birth to what became known as the Lost Generation. Young men who went to war as boys and returned as broken souls. Poets and artists poured their grief into words and paintings, forever changing the world's understanding of pain. They taught us that war has no true victors, only survivors. From the ashes of destruction came reflection and a fragile hope for peace. More than a century later, the scars of World War I still remain, not on the land, but in our collective memory. It was a war that ended empires, changed nations, and redefined humanity. It taught us that pride can destroy, but compassion can rebuild. That peace is fragile and must never be taken for granted. Let us remember the millions who gave their lives, not just as soldiers of war, but as reminders of what peace truly means. Final text on screen, lest we forget.